I stand here today as the founder and director of Edgar's Mission, a not-for-profit sanctuary for rescued farm animals. There are two reasons I decided to create this organisation: my love of animals and my sense of justice. Coming to see animals the way I have, one can never unsee them. And I am joined here today by Timmy, our ambassador sheep. This gentle sheep is a reminder that lives matter. They matter to them and they matter to us. I never knew Tommy, the black Droughtmaster steer who once grazed the vast plains of a cattle station in Western Australia. And his existence would never have been known to me if not for the power of images. The heartbreaking images of Tommy's final moments in a slaughterhouse far removed from his place of birth were vividly captured on film as Animals Australia campaign director Lynn White and co-investigator from the UK bore witness to what will go down in history as one of humanity's blackest hours. Tommy's trembling form as he watched his buddies brutally manhandled, slaughtered and butchered before him will be burned into the hearts and minds of all who watched in horror as a bloody business screened on Australia's most prestigious current affairs show, Four Corners. The images show conveyed the unspeakable physical and mental suffering of Australian animals in Indonesian abattoirs, and Australians were moved to action like never before. Radio stations were flooded with tear-filled voices as callers phoned in. Newspapers echoed sentiments of "how can this be?" and politicians' email boxes overflowed with messages of despair. And the swell of emotion continues today. These were not vegetables being prepared for dinner, but sentient beings whose capacity to suffer was felt by all who saw the images. Make no mistake, this is not an animal rights issue, it is a human wrongs one. And it is one that each and every one of us here today can do something about. The reality of our existence is that one day we will not be here, and history will be remembering us, but how will we be judged? Gandhi put it well when he said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress will be measured by the way it treats its animals." The presence of animals in our lives challenges us on so many levels. The best within us seeks to protect them from suffering, and the worst seeks to profit from their voicelessness. Which world will you leave as your legacy? I truly believe that it is in the voicelessness of animals and their silent pleas for mercy that can truly awaken the greatness of our humanity. And we have that opportunity right here, right now, for that to happen. In the 18th century, a great man named Wilberforce took a stand against a grave injustice that was happening on his watch, the slave trade. A trade in shipboard misery that subjected its cargo to horrendous injustices and suffering. And the very excuses that were offered for the continuation of that trade are mirrored some 250 years later to justify another shipboard trade, the live export. They say they were well looked after. They say it is vital for our economy. They say it is in our interest to look after them. They say they are not like us. They say if we don't do it, someone else will. I, like all of you here today, have no doubt that history will condemn the live export of our animals the same way we condemn the slave trade. The response of those involved in the live export trade has seen a predictable PR spin and a concern for animal welfare that has only been prompted by recent exposés. That they have been working for 10 years in Indonesia to improve animal welfare is alarming indeed. And this is especially so given that they have designed, funded and installed the cruel restraint boxes that breach international standards and have been condemned by leading animal experts on animal slaughter. Reports freely available on the Meat and Livestock website show that animal welfare problems have gone back in Indonesia as far as the year 2000. And it shows an industry with a willingness to overlook standards in animal welfare in the pursuit of profits. Those involved in the industry have told us that we need to be patient, that we can't change hundreds of years of customs overnight, and that they know that there are practices that are poor, but it's something that you can't demand change from in a foreign country. These are the very facts and reasons why live export must end. Once Australian animals leave our shores, destined for foreign countries with customs, cultures and climates different from ours, we cannot control what happens to them. Those that survive the shipboard journey are unloaded outside Australian laws in countries which have little to no animal protection legislation. The live export trade is one that has its foundations in the cruel treatment of animals, and one that, had those involved done their homework, should never have started. We can send the strongest message to Indonesia, the Middle East and the rest of the world that animal cruelty cannot be the basis of an industry by refusing to supply them with live animals. Up until now, those important countries can rightly think that such treatment is acceptable by our willingness to supply them with the animals. The cessation of the trade will also provide local animal protection groups with a much needed opportunity to highlight the unacceptable nature of such ingrained animal suffering. Our government's decision to suspend the trade is the only decision that they could have made in a situation that has riled every decent, caring individual. To do otherwise would have shamed Australia on the world's stage and made us a nation without a heart. But we must do more. We must not let Lynn White's brave and stoic resolve to tell the story and convey those images of those innocent animals be in vain. And to do this, we need to speak up for Tommy and all his buddies, to speak so loud that our politicians We must speak so loud that our politicians cannot feign deafness any longer, and for us to continue to do so until live export is consigned to the dustbin of human history where it should have gone long ago. Even if you have already done so, please do so again. Tell Julia Gillard, tell Joe Ludwig, our Federal Minister for Agriculture, and tell your Federal Member of Parliament that live exports has no place in a compassionate and just society. One of the things that makes our country so great is that our laws reflect public thought. They do not drive it. So it is up to each and every one of us to let our elected representatives know how we feel. As William Wilberforce said, "You may choose to look the other way, but you can never again say that you didn't know." While I do not know much about Tommy, I will remember the image of a beautiful creature with a gentle heart who deserved none of what he endured. And I hope you will do so also. Thank you.
Those animals did not die in vain. They died so that we can stand here and fight for them and be their voice.